All right, so today I'm going to talk about sexual neglect again, but in a different aspect of how it shows up in a different way. So one of the ways that sexual neglect can show up is in the older generations, I've noticed, just from all the counseling I do with Tantra and relationships, is that there's this common thing, at least with this particular generation right now, of people that are in there, usually it's like, can start in the 50s and go up in age is what I'm seeing. That it has to do with their generation a little bit. Not enough good communication skills to effectively address the sexual issues that the couple is experiencing. And what it's looking like is the woman is either going through or already went through menopause, is not interested anymore, and then the guy's left hanging like, well, I'm not going to just not have sex for the rest of my life. And the woman isn't really registering that as that's really serious to be asking your partner to just do without. That's not sustainable or realistic for a guy who has 10 to 20 times the testosterone level that you do. So you guys need to figure out something to make it work somehow, because otherwise you're setting him up to have an affair, to go use services, and that's fine for some women and others it's not. I don't know. I have found that it's not enough to just make him take care of himself and masturbate because he's losing out on the connection that he's wanting with you. It's just not the same. So I highly suggest that you whether you need like a counselor involved like myself, because I do that, but you're going to need to be able to effectively communicate how to strategize so that whichever one of you is feeling left out sexually, usually it's the man, I find, because of the women just feeling done. Now, the women who are feeling done and not really wanting to engage anymore, it's a number of reasons. They've just gone through menopause or are going through it, and it's a very challenging thing to go through in this day and age. There might be some pain involved, especially if she has large fibroids. It could be that she never really liked it that much and is just finally saying, I'm done, I just don't want to pretend anymore, which is an issue that needs to be worked through and communicated effectively as to what she does like and what does work for her. And so that that needs to get to the bottom of that as to why she's not wanting to. Because if it is because she's just sick of it and she's not really turned on by the way her man is being, because maybe he makes it all about him, maybe he just doesn't really have skills around love making, and it's just sort of like wham bam thank you ma'am kind of style, or he hasn't really learned yet that women work from the top down, and that's why kissing comes in and necking, and you move down the body, and that's how her body is able to process what's happening in a consecutive manner without going haywire. Women have to be warmed up and feel safe, and we can't just get there in 60 seconds like you guys do. And a lot of men, I find, kind of skip steps these days. They're in a rush, they're spoiled, they're used to women throwing themselves at them, or whatever reason it is. Maybe it's porn, it just makes them kind of insensitive, and they're rushing things. They've kind of lost, it feels like, a lot of the romance arts that is what makes it effective in a relationship, and especially for a woman to stay interested. And and then on the female part, I just find that she hasn't found the communication skills to effectively communicate what she needs and what works for her and what would get her enrolled again. So you know, it is kind of a touchy subject at times. You don't want to give your partner the message that they're doing things wrong, or that they're not that exciting, or that, you know, they're just not turning you on anymore, or whatever. But I just look at it more as education. You know, let's learn each other's bodies and what turns us on, and, you know, get creative. And you got to set each other up for success by educating, you know, and talking through it, like, oh yeah, a little to the right, or, you know, whatever it takes, let's do this position, that's my favorite, that kind of thing. Because otherwise he's guessing. And I know that we have a kind of a traditional, in America at least, we have a bit of a traditional approach from our Puritan background, where, you know, we kind of let the man lead, and then half the time he doesn't know what the hell he's doing, and he doesn't know our bodies, and it doesn't really go in a way that the woman's that happy with. And then she won't say anything, so he never really knows, and then she might drop off the radar, and he's not really sure why, or not, or, you know, down the road even, you know, doesn't know why she's not interested anymore. And it's just, you know, communication skills. So we've got to get over, you know, the fears with that, and hopefully gain some communication skills around this, which, you know, does take some practice. And I ascribe the whole movement of compassionate communication that's worldwide to, you know, what's made me a lot more comfortable with these conversations, and, you know, just getting trainings in this. And it used to be called NVC, nonviolent communication, and now they tend to refer to it as compassionate communication. And there's practice groups and seminars and weekends and stuff like that you can go learn the skills as to how to talk effectively, so that the person can hear you and not feel attacked or get triggered. And so it just highly upgrades all your relationships in life. So it's very worth it. And we just need to get to that place where we're comfortable talking about these things, instead of just sweeping them under the rug and never really getting to the bottom of why things aren't working, and or why are they not working anymore. And you know, what has happened in this dysfunction, unfortunately, is I feel like men that are in their 50s and up, that are with a partner like that, who's kind of like, yeah, I'm done with sex, you know, I'm not really into it anymore, is it forces him to turn to porn. It forces him to turn to, you know, going out for a sensual massage with a happy ending, or seeking out that kind of service, which I don't judge, but a lot of women would be surprised if they knew that their husbands were going and having that done, because their husbands are tired of being neglected sexually and don't really know why it's not working anymore. And, you know, maybe their partner isn't communicating effectively enough where they can, like, get there and reach a nice happy medium that they're both happy with, and it's a win-win. So, you know, women, your guy is not going to tell you that he's going to get a happy ending massage because he knows you won't like it, but he's suffering, and he's feeling like, oh my God, my sex life sucks, and, you know, I'm married, and I was counting on this working for me, you know, for the rest of my life, and yet now I'm just, you know, stifled. So you can't leave him like that. It has to be something that you guys agree upon as to the strategy, so that at least his needs are met. If you're claiming not to have any needs in that area anymore, that he definitely needs an outlet, whether you decide to, you know, get him there differently, or he has to do some things that really work for you so that you can get in the mood, and you set aside time, and you know, you each get something you really want out of the experience. So anyway, that's my talk on that. Let's end this sexual neglect that I see going on, you know, with clients, and, you know, having to teach about it. So I'm just bringing awareness to all this, so that we can move forward and get past it, and be in a healthy, loving environment with our partners.